Welcome back to Slothbox. This channel is proudly sponsored by Lionpool Security Services and the Excelsior Sporting Club. This is James Lutton. I'm delighted to be joined by the Mckenna brothers, Stevie and Aaron. Guys, how are you?
Well, James, all going good.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining me today. I want to talk to you both. There's a lot of potential fights for you out there, a lot of names circulating around, both of your names at the moment. Aaron, we'll start with yourself. Liam Williams. I'm starting there because there's a lot of talk over Twitter and social media, and it seemed like Liam Williams had given you and your team a deadline to make a deal done a few days back now. And he then later, a few days later, posted a tweet saying he's a retired fighter now. It sounds like the fight isn't on. It sounds like he's no longer fighting, and who knows what's going on. Aaron, what is going on?
Yeah, well, I seen that he came out there and said he's retired now, but he was the one that was doing all the mouthing on Twitter, telling me, take the fight and all. And we've had dates in place before. The first one was June, 2 weeks before my fight in York Hall, when Thompson pulled out. He was nowhere to be seen, so Liam Williams was asked, and then he turned that one down. And then he had another opportunity in the 2nd of September on the major card, Chris Eubank versus Liam Smith. That was a huge fight card to get on, and he turned that one down. He was in Mexico making love hearts in the sand, drinking beer and eating ice cream. That's what he was up to when he was getting the chance to have a massive fight with me in that card. And now, when it was trying to get me again for a third time, he's came out and said he's retired and he's going on holidays again. So I don't know what's going on with him, to be honest.
What do you make of his excuses and reason why he can't fight you and things like that, or why it hasn't happened yet?
It's a joke, like the way he's been talking all this talk on Twitter, saying that, like, talking about me, calling me names, saying a lot of vile things, and then for him to go away to Mexico on holidays, like, make sandcastles in the sand while he's doing all that talk on Twitter, turning down these dates, just to come out with that sort of stuff is not on when you can't back it up, you can't talk the talk.
Absolutely. Stevie, we'll come to yourself as well. And again, names being mentioned, not necessarily somebody calling your name, but you calling somebody else's name, somebody who said that nobody wants to fight him, yet you've been calling his name for a long time, especially on our channel. You've always called for Florian Marku. He looked impressive against Dylan Moran recently. It was an early stoppage. You blew him out of the water very, very quickly. He didn't really get an opportunity to showcase what he can do or what he can't do. It was over very quickly, like I say. But he did come out afterwards and say that nobody wants to fight him. He's very avoided. But as I mentioned, you have called his name a long time. This is a fight that you still want, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't understand why the fight hasn't been made yet. Like, he fought the number 7 ranked fighter in Ireland. I'm number 1, so it's the fight that makes sense at the moment. I've been calling him out far too long, and I've been talking to Ben Shalom, and he's probably the most protected fighter in the UK at the minute. He's a team around him, and they're all been very careful in who they fight and picking and choosing opponents. I think they know if they put him in with me, it's game over for him. But it's a fight that I'm sure everyone would love to see. The winner would be able to go on and then call out the big names in the division. He's calling out Conor Benn and Kell Brook and the likes of them, but they're unrealistic for him at the moment. He needs to take a fight like me, and then he'd be in a better place to talk. But until he fights someone like me, and then he can be in the position to call out them guys.
No, absolutely. And in terms of, you mentioned he's very well protected. You guys have a good working relationship with Boxer and Ben Shalom. Why? I mean, what have they told you? Why has it not happened? Why is it not getting over on? Why is it not even being considered by them?
Yeah, we're not even getting any excuses. It's just anytime my name's mentioned, supposedly Marky gets very angry when he hears my name. Ben Shalom, he needs to make this fight happen. Marku is running for his life from this fight. He knows himself. If he's able to fight the number 7 in Ireland, why doesn't he fight the number 1? Like,
what do you make of Florian Marku and as a fighter and as a boxer?
He's domestic level. He's not a fighter that will win a world title, but he's tough. He looks he's small. He looks strong in there in his last fight. So it's the sort of fight that would sell very well on TV. He talks the talk, but can he walk the walk? That's the question. After seeing previous performances, I don't think honestly he lasts 2 rounds with me. I'd say first or second round, I'd bash him out of there straight away.
I mean, it's certainly a potential fight that would be absolute fireworks, especially off the back of his last performance and looking at all of your performances. It's not one that will hit a final bell, is it?
Not a hope. The only one, be getting our hand raised and the end's me, but it'd be absolute fireworks. Albania, he has a huge fan base in Albania. He's probably one of the best fans in the world. You see the support he gets. Anytime I put up a post or anything, they're all messaging me, fight Marku, fight this, he'll do that, he'll do this. But until he fights the hitman, then they can call him the Albanian king, maybe if he beats me. But they need to push and make this fight happen. This is the fight that I want next. We hopefully, get it before the end of the year. Why not? It'd sell out any place.
You mentioned his fan base, and he has got a big travelling fan base. And I've witnessed it firsthand. I've been in a crowd when his fans are there and they are noisy, they're loud, and they come out and support him in droves. Do you feel that is potentially why you're not getting this fight, because he is such a good ticket seller?
That's it, yeah. Well, he's massive fan base. He has millions of Albanians tuning in every time he fights. So I can see why, they're trying their best to protect him. But there's only so long he can carry on with this. He's been in boxing professional ranks over 5 years. There's only certain fights he can take and not take these step ups. So he needs to fight someone like me to really prove himself, and then then they can see where they are with him. But I think if they take the fight with me, it's game over.
And Aaron, back to yourself. Obviously, you mentioned earlier the Shaquille Thompson fight fell through. That was your big domestic fight, the name that people recognised. You have fought tough opponents, but in the UK, people don't recognise their names and they almost dismiss opponents like that because they don't know who they are. It doesn't matter how dangerous they are. If fan bases haven't heard of them, essentially they're not going to potentially not tune into the fights. For yourself, I see you got your hands taped up there. You've both obviously been training today. What's next for yourself, Aaron? When do you want to get back out there? Obviously, whether it be Liam Williams or not, who do you want?
Yeah, well, I definitely want to get out before the end of the year, 100%. I've had 2 fights this year, and I definitely need to get one more before the year ends. I had 1 fight last year, so I need to stay active, and that's the most important thing. So Liam Williams, don't retire yet. Come out and fight me, and then you can retire.
How important is it for you, Aaron, to get active? Like I mentioned earlier, 3 fights in nearly 2 years. It's not an awful lot, especially for somebody of your age as well at this stage of your career.
Yeah, it's very important. You need to be staying active. I'm 24 now, and I've won 2 titles, so it's important for me to keep staying busy and active. And I need to get a fight next now that'll take me to the next level. It's hard to get the next step up. Fight. That's what I want. I want a world level fight. But it's hard to get them guys into the ring. It's a big risk for them, fighting a young guy like me coming through, and it's just a big risk for them. But that's the type of fight I want, someone who's in world title level.
How frustrating is it to be such a risky fight for somebody else?
Yeah, it's very frustrating. It's just one of them things where until you get that big fight, it'll be hard to get people to come in and step in the ring with you. So hopefully now before the end of the year, I get that fight. Liam Williams would be ideal. He's at world level. He's ranked number 9 in the WBC. He'd be a perfect opponent for me to go through them rankings and compete for the world levels.
I know you would jump in and fight for a world title tomorrow against one of the champions. We've spoke about this before, but how important is it for you, especially at 24 years of age, to not jump the gun, to make sure you get these right step-up fights step by step, rather than saying, well, do you know what, I'm frustrated, I'm not active, I need to get in there, to then jump in straight in with the big dogs? How important is it for you to still keep with your progression?
Yeah, it's important to get the right fights, but I think I'm at a level now where I can take these big fights on. I'm 24. I've been pro 6 years nearly now. Traveled all over the world, getting the best spar possible, and now I think I'm at a stage where I need to be getting these big fights and competing for the world title whenever I get the opportunity. Like you said, I would take it in the morning, but I have to earn it now, and I want a big fight.
Definitely. And Steve, back to yourself. What's your plans? You know, you want to stay active as well, like your brother there. Are you hoping to get out again before the end of this year? What are your, you know, obviously we mentioned Florian Marku. I know that's one of your hopes, but it doesn't sound likely that it's going to happen. So what are your hopes and plans?
Well, I'm gonna be having fight news hopefully announced this week. You know, in the next couple of days, hopefully now. So, I'm gonna have a fight very soon. Just all going to plan, and then hopefully finish off the year in another fight. You know, I want to be active. I want to keep fighting and keep knocking guys out. The Marku fight at the end of the year. Why not make it happen?
Definitely. But boys, I hope you both get your fights that you want. Thank you very much again for your time. It's always appreciated.
Thanks, James.
Right.
Good talking
Good
to you. All
talk to you,
right.
James. Good man.
And cheers.